Hello, and thank you so much for the quick overview of the ePanic button with the version 5. I'm going to try to do this real simply so you can get the basics. Of course, we have further instructions for more detailed instructions. The program is a client-server program, so there's a server aspect that you log into with our dashboard, and then there's a small client that gets installed on the workstations. Now, we do have full instructions on installation here. If you go to ePanicButton install underscore instructions. And then it's also available under our tutorials as well. If you go to resources, then tutorials, you can see more of the instructions that we have in detail for each of these steps. But let me go over it in basic. Regarding the install, what you do is you get your username and password, and you log in. In the upper right, you'll see the download link where you can download the installation file. And I do recommend putting it on the desktop or downloads folder of the station that you are installing. Again, we do have further instructions here on our install instructions page, and we do have a separate video just for that as well. After you run the installer, you'll be given a blank profile that'll look a little something like this, though of course it'll be blank. Just fill it out. One note in the email field, just please use small letters, no capitals. After you click OK, then it generates the user on the admin portal. Just go to the Users tab, and then there you can see my station right there is the one that is highlighted. And so that's as simple as creating the new users on the workstation. From there, you're able to change what buttons they get, if they're to receive the messages, and what buttons that you want to have. And by doing that, again, I want to say you just need to log into the administrative portal, which is also on our ePanic site. You got the login right there from the ePanic site. But once you log in, let me just quickly go through the tabs. So click on groups first. Groups means template of buttons. So if you're in the general group, you get the general group buttons. If you're in the Chapel Hill group, then you get the Chapel Hill buttons. That makes sense for different reasons. One is geographically. If you have offices all over the states, it only makes sense that you want to have local receivers. So you create your buttons and your groups depending upon who's local. Also, groups could be dependent upon your role. So for instance, if you have a security department, they may have certain buttons, such as a lockdown button, that you would not provide to your general employees, but that's just for management or whoever. Again, you can create different buttons depending upon their role. Now, as I go through the system, I want to point out you have these universal icons in the bottom left. If you want to add a new item, like a new button or a new group, click the plus sign. If you want to edit it, click the pencil. If you want to delete it, click the trash can. And then if you have a lot, you may want to use the filter tool to find out which button or user that you're looking for. And then there's a refresh button as well. Now, speaking of buttons, that's where the heart of the dashboard is. When you click on buttons, you can see there's a range of buttons. So as I mentioned before, you can click on the filter tool, and you could search for name, message, severity level. I'm going to go with the general group because that's what my workstation is in. So if you see that we have a green, red, and yellow triangles, if you look at my bottom right of my screen, you'll see the red, green, and yellow triangles. I'm in the general group, therefore I have the general buttons. Real quick, I'm going to show you how you can edit or create new buttons. So I'll click the plus sign because I want to create a new one. And let's say we want to do something like a medical emergency button. So you want to add a name for the button and title. The difference between name and title is what's actually written underneath the icon. So it has to be short, like within 8 characters. And you want to create any message that you want. I do suggest that you keep it simple. Need medical help. Simple as that. You can then choose the icon. I'll go with the medical bag. You can choose to have the button muted as well, so it has no sound. Another thing is you have the option to have a send delay. So therefore it can go instantly, like 0 seconds, or a 5-second delay, or a 10-second delay. If I can demonstrate that real quick, when I click on security down here, you see I'm given 10 seconds to cancel it, and it's canceled. That stops any false alarms. In addition, there are 3 audible sounds, 3 different tones, and you can choose which one you want from high, medium, or low. And then at the bottom, you can choose the hot keys. And it has to be at least 2 keys, such as maybe Alt, N or something like that. Now the program could be activated with an Alt N, or you can mouse over and just click the icon. So there's again two ways that you can activate the program. In terms of choosing who is getting this message, there are three types of messages, and each type can have its own list. On the right-hand side, you'll see a little computer icon, a little envelope, and a little telephone or a little cell phone. Let me show that one real quick. It's pretty self-explanatory. Again, click add if you want to add a number, or if you have a bunch of phone numbers, you could batch add them just by separating the phone numbers with a comma, and then it's real quick. You can batch add them as well. It is the same exact idea with um, um, the emails as well. You can add it individually, or you can batch add them if you'd like. The one thing that is different is the desktop pop-up alert. So if you're one of those individuals that's supposed to get the pop-up alert, such as this desktop pop-up that's really the heart of the program, then you have to manually assign them. And the receiver needs the program installed as well. As I'll show you with this new medical button, I'll click the little um, uh, icon for the computers, and here is everyone that is available. So everyone in your account that has a program installed that's a user will show up here, and then you can just choose who you want to add. So on the right hand side are the available receivers, on the left hand side are the current receivers. And now moving forward, if I was to click this medical button, then we would see those 5 individuals get the program. Moving on, the users tab again shows the different users, also identifies by machine name, and there's different groups. You can move people around in different groups in different ways. You can choose an individual and choose which group they should be assigned to. Or again, going back to the groups tab, you can click on the members icon on the groups tab, select it, and then just move people around as appropriate. So if I want, this person to join the Chapel Hill group, you just move them back. If you want them out of the Chapel Hill group, then just choose that other group and move them in. You can't really move people out of a group, but you can move people into any group, which is essentially the same thing. In addition, there's the admins table. You might have a little bit different view, but you're able to create new administrators, and that refers to people who can log into the system and make changes. I do recommend keeping that list pretty short so that not too many people confuse things. The final thing is we have an events log where you keep a track record of changes to the portal, but then it also gives you a list of every time the button is pressed. So this is a great way to track when and who is pressing the buttons for your safety audits or things like that. Folks, I think that is the essence of it. If you have any questions at all, I do encourage you to go through our tutorials where we go over each of these items more in detail, or feel free to contact us anytime. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.